final session for the evening, Urbanizing Our Future Cities. And for that, can I please have on stage Mr. Karan, Singh, Sodi, JLL to moderate the session. Let's give a round of applause. Thank you very much, Mr. Sodi, for joining us.
And let's also put our hands together and welcome our speakers, Mr. Sahil, Kansal, Croma, Mr. Aniruddh Kumar, Accor, Mr. Jayant Kumar, Banthia, SVKM Trust, Mr. Prakash, Chandra, Kandpal, Deputy MD Retail, Personal Banking and Real Estate, and Mr. Anant, Rajegaonkar, VP CREDAI. Can we please have a huge round of applause for our moderator and speakers for our final session of the evening, which is Urbanizing Our Future Cities. Requesting everyone to be seated. Once again, requesting everyone to be seated for our final session, which is Urbanizing Our Future Cities. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Genuinely, we promise that we'll keep it exciting. I know we're genuinely standing behind the session and the bar. So we keep it quick, we keep it crisp. And our endeavor from the panelists is we make this into a conversation over the bar, hopefully for tier 2, tier 3. I'm pretty excited of this topic, and actually it's the most apt post-COVID about energizing and urbanizing the future cities, which is tier 2 and tier 3. There's some echo. Cool. So before I just jump, I want to give some perspective for everybody to understand. Since COVID has hit and come and you also have very interesting things happening. Is that talent in tech have all gone back to their home cities from Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad. And what's interesting in the last 18 months, we've seen the top 5 occupiers move and set up centers in those smaller cities so that the talent acquisition is arrested. There's limited talent acquisition. The employees at least staying very close to home. They're saving salary. Plus they get the environment to work. Number 2, interestingly, this year we've seen Coimbatore clock 1 million square feet of office leasing. Trivandrum saw one single deal of 8 lakh square feet. Indore, for the first time in the first 6 months of 2020, has seen 6 lakh square feet of leasing. This is all office. And now, I just want to mention something on industrial and warehousing perspective. Since between 2020 and 2021, Tier 2 cities actually contributed 82% growth on online e-commerce consumption. What's that led to is more empowered and impetus to warehousing leasing in Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4 cities. And we've been listening for the last 1.5 days. Every session has been saying that it's here to stay and it's here to grow. And for India to become a $3 trillion economy in the next 5 years, we have to, on an urgent basis, create and make hubs of multiple tier 2, tier 3 cities to absorb growth. Because tier 1 have already exhausted and they cannot sustain more growth. Plus the fact that 66% of population needs housing. We have to cater to that. So it's a big opportunity and it's here now and waiting for each one of you to actually capitalize. And with that, I'd like to bring in Sahil. Sahil actually been a part of Croma for almost a decade, heading the real estate vertical. And Sahil, from a retail perspective, while we're giving context from office and industry, in retail, how has the consumer target changed for retailers just pre-pandemic and post-pandemic?
See, if we really see, India has always been known that the growth comes from the smaller. We have always been known that the village where the part of the country is. There's like a word being said that India and Bharat. It always says that Bharat is more prosperous than India. So the same what we have seen now. And we, after COVID, I think people have realized that it's better to be near to home. We have seen like one of the speakers was saying that many lakhs of people have moved to the metros and all that. But if you really see after pandemic, everybody have one or the other kind of losses in their family, in their well-known and all that. But that's when they really realize that it's always to be near to their home. And I think even the corporates, companies, and everybody have realized that if they give comfort to their employees, they will be better. They perform better. So, because of that, if you see as the festival which has just ended, the growth was tremendous. And people say it's because of a pent-up demand and people have started spending a lot. So if you see, if you break that growth, in this specifically retail, the most of the growths are coming from the smaller towns. And just to put a perspective for us, like we always see our brand, average sale is, I say 30 crores a year. A small town in Maharashtra, on a Dhabi, did 2 crore of a sale in a day. And we were shocked that how can a store does 2 crore and not to hide the city's Kolhapur. Everybody know Kolhapur is a very close, but 2 crores a day, it's an eye-opener. And how can we really, we really doubted, okay, there must be some wrong billing, there must be some bulk billing, but when we have seen, it was a fact. And if you see, we track the mobile numbers and all that customer details, a lot of them were from Mumbai, who were our customer at some point in Mumbai, have now gone to the smaller towns and they are being settled there. So things have changed a lot. People have got the value of their real home, that where they are from real, like Mr. Velu was saying, that he always think like for his complete speech, he was always talking about his village, about his city and all that. So in our heart, it's always there, that that's my home. So now people have feel the value of going there. That you have seen that growths are coming from there.
Interesting. Let me bring Aniruddh to the picture. Aniruddh actually has more than 25 years of experience and an expert in hotel industry. So Aniruddh would like to know what's the change for hotel industry post-pandemic. There were talks about revenge, holiday, staycation, a lot of things. But how do you see like 2-3 key changes which happened pre and post-pandemic from a hotel perspective?
Thanks, Karan. I think we are done and dusted with COVID and we are pretty much back. There is a robust growth in all segments, in the supply, in the performance. So I will just give you a little bit background of the hospitality in India. Indian hospitality is still at very nascent stage. We have about 116,000 rooms branded hotel segment, which is equal to the number of rooms there in Vegas, or maybe in Macau, or maybe Singapore, one city. Middle East must be having the higher number of rooms than what we have in totally in India. But that doesn't mean that there is no demand. So these 160,000 rooms that by 2025 it will become 180,000. That represents only 20% of the total accommodation supply available in the market. So that means around 80% is unbranded, but as a recognized star category hotels, right? On top of that, about the similar size or maybe twice of that size, which is completely unorganized or non-star hotels. So there is a demand definitely, but we need to tap it, right? From perspective of tier 2 market and tier 1 market, tier 1 market is pretty much saturated. So like Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Chennai, they are all having like about 13, 14, 15,000 rooms in the city. If you go back and see around 2012, we were having about 80,000 rooms inventory in India, right? Compared to now, in 10 years, we have reached about 160, and 2025 we will reach at 180. So almost double, right? But the point is that in all these tier 1 market, the supply increase is about 25-30%. While the tier 2 market, the supply increase is 2 times, 3 times, 5 times. Like Kochi, 1,000 rooms were there, and now it is about 4,000 rooms. So all the growth which is coming from tier 2 and tier 3 market, that's very encouraging, right? Only problem in developing the hotel in tier 3 market or tier 2 market is that land cost is pretty much same, because in these market you want to build hotel in the city center at a prime location, and if you compare the land price, it is pretty much same per square feet basis, right? The project cost is pretty much same, but the rates what you get in these market is almost 30 to 40% lower than what you get in tier 1 market. So that is why developer is generally shy in building the large inventory hotel in these markets, right? But things are changing. Now all these markets are seeing 1 or 2 hotels is being built. From Accor perspective, we have about 35% of our room inventory in these markets, and we are looking forward to grow it and make it 50-50.
Great. I'll just add to that question. So we know developers here build hotels and get operators, and obviously payback period is way higher than a typical office or residential offices. You can take sales from day zero. How's the price movement of average daily rates post-COVID?
So I can give you some data point. We are still about 12 to 15% below 2019 performance countrywide in terms of the RevPAR. But in banquet revenue, F&B revenue, we are doing much more. So in terms of the absolute term, countrywide, we are at par with what we were at 2019. When the COVID hit, all the hotels company and industry, they have estimated that probably we'll get a complete recovery by 2024. But the good news is that we will do it within this year itself, and we are targeting 2023 around 15 to 20% higher than what we were at 2019. From Accor perspective, we are already 15% up on our 2019 performance this year, and for the next year we are targeting 15% from this base.
Interesting. Great insights from a hotel perspective. Let me bring in Mr. Banthia, a very senior gentleman, has wear many hats as his role, and in the current role as working for the SVKM Trust, very well-known brand, build brands like NMIMS and Colleges Institute. So, question to you. Yeah, working.
Yeah. Okay.
So we've seen over so many decades in tier 2, tier 3, parents send their children to the main hub cities for education. I mean, pick up any university, any part of tier 1, or maybe a support city around tier 1, you'll see at least 48 to 52% students who are migrants. And once they come and complete the education, they tend to get jobs like the lifestyle and continue to stay there. Is there anything from an education sector perspective, now with this whole new age adoption of going back to the tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities, is there something on education sector also being happening on the side?
Thanks, Karan. Yeah, it has been a very engaging session. Thanks to CREDAI and JLL for this invite. Yes, I'm with SVKM and we have experiences of a deemed to be university, NMIMS, which is in several metropolitan towns and Tier 2 towns, and even a very small town like Sherpur, which is a very small town in Dhule district. It's a tribal area. So what has COVID done? What has the new education policy done? And its complex and compounded impact. When we did the analysis for our famous MBA management courses, today about 100,000 students appear in the exam. We analyzed where are these students from, and as you rightly mentioned, they are from northern India, they are from central India, they are from Maharashtra, neighboring states, small towns. We had two options. One is to open more campuses outside to bring home the aspirations, because in Mumbai and neighboring areas where we have campuses, or in Bangalore or Hyderabad, the cost of hostel is extremely high. And that is what we have done. So to me, it's fairly clear that while aspirations for education are going to become larger and larger, we should also take into account the huge demographic dividend which we have been talking about in several other sectors. As far as I can see, and I have been a census commissioner, so I understand the demographics. In this century, in any given year, India is going to add, under the lowest estimate, anywhere between 15 million to 18 million population every year. There's no choice. The base is so big. Whatever the growth rates come down. Imagine the burden on the education sector. Universal literacy, we are talking about higher education, etc., etc. So that's fairly clear. And therefore, to me, student housing, which is, in our view, not properly attended by the real estate sector or otherwise, is an emerging area for sure. There's no doubt about it. The way student housing is practiced, the institutions can provide very little support. For example, in Sherpur, we have got, it's a small town, 30,000 students, 17,000 local students. The population of Sherpur is 60,000. 13,000 students come from outside Maharashtra or from within Maharashtra to Sherpur. We can provide them housing only for 1,000 students. A big deficit. So what does the town do? Creates additional rooms everywhere. It's not a proper housing asset. And this is going to grow much, much complexer. I talked about the new education policy, the aspirations and the lessons from the COVID. Everybody has been conscious about health. Everybody has been talking about hospitalization in COVID in spite of all the challenges. And literally every single state government in the country is aspiring to open a medical college in every district, which is not going to happen in the metro cities. It's going to happen in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. And let's see what's the implication of this. Like in the 1870s, 1880s, when Bombay was growing and putting up a textile mill, it meant creation of the jobs and all that thing over there, etc. A lot of residential, because obviously you have to provide accommodation for all the workers out there. When you put up a medical college, you put up a 300 to 500 bedded hospital. And typical hospital means for every patient there will be 2 relatives. And there's virtually very little accommodation which is being provided by the hospital themselves for the patient. Dharamshala, Dharanbara, Serakansa doesn't work actually. If anybody has moved around the metropolitan towns, either Tata, Kansal, etc., you see the number of people on the streets. Another area which requires a serious issue over there, concern addresses. So student housing, patient care housing, because of the educational policies, etc., are definitely emerging areas. And I leave the thought to this audience about the demographic dividend which we talked about. It's It's going to happen obviously in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar. It's going to happen in Rajasthan, where we do not have major cities as such. It's going to happen in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities out there. And if students have to come from UP and Bihar to Mumbai or Pune or Bangalore or any other place, obviously, we need to find out what is the proper urbanization direction required for northern or the Hindi belt, as we say. So that's a major question in urbanizing our cities because of education. And I again repeat, the population annual growth will not be less than 1.5 to 50 million to 80 million every year because a huge piece. We have to address this population. Can the real estate sector really step in?
Very interesting statistics. Thank you. Let me bring in Mr. Anant. Anant, you represent CREDAI over here, and obviously come from Nashik. You're seeing that we are talking and seeing demand generate and be real demand for office, industrial, retail, hotel, education, student housing, patient housing, and medical colleges being really there. Do you think, what is the advice you give through, especially tier 2, tier 3 and 4 developers, how to gear up and be ready to actually cater to this demand? It's coming, it's there.
Yes, everybody should identify the potential of their cities. See, every Tier 2, Tier 3 cities are having their own potential. If you take the example of Coimbatore, they are doing very good in mechanical industries. See, it's a small town in Maharashtra called Latur, they are very much doing good in education. Kota is doing education. So every Tier 2, Tier 3 cities having their potential. So all these cities, our real estate brothers should exploit that potential and see that quality migration comes over there. So with quality migration, we can sell our product to quality customer and paying capacity increases. Same thing is after COVID, one more opportunity has come after hybrid working system. Because of hybrid working system, that brain was reversing back to their original towns. Because of aspiration for good work-life balance, they are getting good work-life balance life because they are saving in traffic time and other urban issues and affordable housing at Tier 2, Tier 3 cities. So Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, our real estate brothers should see this opportunity and capitalize on that. Secondly, all brands like we are talking about Accor, Croma, then other, you can see these education institutes. Very big education institutes are focusing towards Tier 2, Tier 3 cities. Even there is very good opportunity for agro-tourism where agriculture is having potential. There is very good opportunity for medical tourism where medical facilities are nice. You see very small city like Miraj and Sangli in Maharashtra. They are specialists in some very good hospital treatment. So there is potential for medical tourism. So city like Nashik and Kolhapur, they are having very good opportunities for agro-tourism. So with these potentials and combination of attracting quality migration, I can see these all cities can become the growth engines of economy of India. And when we say that next decade or next centuries of India is of India, then without the support of Tier 2, Tier 3 cities and 4 cities, it cannot happen. And it is our responsibility of our brothers of Tier 2, Tier 3 cities and 4 cities to support this cause and take this challenge and make India flourishing in next decade and next century. Thank you.
Great. And very nice to hear yesterday that CREDAI and HDFC Capital have allocated $1 billion fund for Tier 2, Tier 3 cities. I think it's a great opportunity. And with that, I'd like to bring in the biggest banker and the most respected banker, SBI, Mr. Kandpal. You know, you see all demand coming. And obviously, finance is the most nucleus of this whole development angle. How are you seeing money allocation, real estate allocation, from a development perspective.
So let me first thank CREDAI for inviting retail banker. Because since morning I was looking at a lot of investors, foreign listing and all those had come. But the money flows from a retail banker. Every year you will be surprised that around 4 lakh crore rupees from the banking, formal banking, goes into the housing sector through home loans. See, in 2017, the home loan industry is 120 billion. In 2022, it is 450 billion. And going forward, by 2030, it will be 1 trillion. It means we are clearly seeing the growth. Now, from bankers' perspective, how the consumption is increasing is tier 2, 3, 4 cities. You look at e-commerce. Most of the e-commerce platforms are operating vibrantly in tier 2, 3, 4 cities. We are mistaken that it is being done in metro. I'll give you one example of home loans. Only 18% of the home loans are being sanctioned in metro. Maybe there may be other reason because people are flushed with money. They must be buying it from other sources. But in tier 2, it is 32%, tier 3, 25%, and rest in rural. And we are seeing much more demand from those regions. Now coming back to the affordability. See, we have got more than 10 crore who are engaged as a permanent employee, whether it is corporate or government. Are we selling or have we sold 10 crore homes? No. As State Bank, we have got around 40 lakh customers. If you look at the entire industry, I think total financing must have been 1.5 crore rupees so far. 1.5 crore customers. Still there is much headroom there. 8 crore customers still aspire to have their home. And where will they have the homes now? So I belong to a small place, district headquarters in Uttarakhand, which is called Almora, next to Nainital. I went there after 5 years. I saw a mall coming up there and hundreds of new building projects coming. Although they can't construct a 8-story, they can build only a 3 to 4 story. But I saw around 50 to 60 such 4-story or 3-story projects are coming. So that used to be termed as semi-urban. You know, earlier we used to have metro, urban, semi-urban and rural. And the divide was that rural is up to 10,000 population, semi-urban is up to 1 lakh, urban is up to 10 lakh, and beyond that used to be metro. Today, do we have that definition? The population growth has blurred this definition. I do not know tier 1, 2, 3 was based on the growth prospects. But are we still counting based on that? Or we are looking at it, the population which is there? The cities are merging. There was a time that Hyderabad was separate and Secunderabad was separate. It is one. And in 10 years, I think Mumbai Pune is also going to be one. And if Mumbai Pune becomes one, in between the cities will come, and those cities would be built by you people only. My ask as a consumer, because I am a banker, but as a consumer also, when I looked at the Diamond Developers presentation, I got moved. And immediately I wrote to my CGN that let's put up for some concession to those builders who are building sustainable projects.
And actually, I just like to say one thing, sir. I've seen SBI car loans for e-vehicles, which is a discount to the normal loans. So you are anyway taking a lead on the E side, the sustainability side.
And as a consumer, I deserve a better home. I deserve a sustainable home. I do not want to die with the guilt
that I exploited environment or the present for myself and did not leave anything for future. And if I live with that, my builder also provide me or support me in living that dream. So not only we will be giving to the builder some concession, but also to the buyers, home buyers there. That is what we will do. First thing. Second thing is that if you look at in metro, what kind of houses are there? Those were built 50 years, 60 years back. They are not environment friendly. Thus, sun does not come, so most of them have to use electricity for them. How can we build houses which is eco-friendly? And those eco-friendly cannot be in metros. You will have to move further. And since the mobility is increasing, people will be able to travel from one place to another place. So please provide them better houses. Third thing is that in entire ecosystem, where do we fit in? Okay, you are creative people, we are financiers. And there are various other stakeholders who are there. If we all come together and decide where will we take this planet, so I think we will be able to provide much better solutions. From State Bank of India, we are providing the solar roof panels at a concessional interest rate. With Tata Power, we have a tie-up and we did that. Similarly, we will do it with you. Maybe we will do it with developers who create green surroundings around. Let's come forward and everything can be paid off in a sustainable manner. Where you save the money, you will be coming. Often we talk about interest rates. We are the custodian of public money, and I like when Prestige MD, he was talking about that the customer trusts the builder. It means the builders have to repose the trust which the customer has. Similarly, banker also, we are having money from the small locations. Can you believe 60% of the money comes from rural, semi-urban and urban places? Metro and second level metro people, they will be spending more money than keeping the money in the bank. So we have to repose trust. So when it comes to reposing trust, when we finance anybody, whether it is builder or anything, there is some discipline we want. And the discipline makes a sustainable environment. Today you may feel pain, but in the long run you will be gaining. So it's a short-term pain, but long-term gain. Lot of transparency, governance, and your name will also be, you will build your reputation if you follow that. So I'll request builders, because I'm surprised that in my whole portfolio of 6 lakh crores, my builder's portfolio is only 20,000 crores. And I think out of 20,000, around 15,000 will be large builders, only 4,000-5,000 will be small builders. When we are willing to stand beside you, why don't you come forward? Maybe we'll ask for 2-3 more papers, but in the long run, it will be paying you off. And first time if you experience in your another projects, we will be able to support you much better. Let's come together and build a sustainable environment. Thank you.
Great. Let me come to Aniruddh. So now I put you on the spot from Accor perspective. What's your commitment to tier 2, tier 3 cities in the next 5 years? Can we do deals outside on bricks?
No, definitely. So, see, there are 3 things which you need to keep in mind if you are planning to build a hotel in tier 2 or tier 3 market to attract an international brand. The first thing is that that should be the best hotel in the town, right? Typically we ask 150, 200 room inventory, but we understand that project cost goes very high. So we are considering and looking at a model where we can make it happen and profitable at about 120 rooms or 100 room inventory, right? The third thing is that build the meeting spaces or the banquet spaces because the wedding business and the social business is equal to what you pay in metros, right? And there is a huge demand in that segment. So that is one thing. And typically it is best if you have a large piece of land, you need to manage your risk, do it in a mixed-use environment, build some commercial offices if there is a demand, build a retail space if there is a demand, right? And build a hotel along with that. So typically if you sell your commercial, you realize your project cost. Retail, you want to control the whole tenant and positioning issue. So then you can rent it out, and the consistent cash flow coming from the retail, that would basically mitigate all the risks in terms of the fluctuation in the AR and the market situation. But what I've seen is that if you build the best hotel in the town and with a sizable inventory, it never gets fed.
Interesting.
And we are looking forward to get into these markets very aggressively. This year we have signed Bhopal, Indore, Chandigarh, Mohali, Shimla. So we are signing it mostly in all these tier 2 and tier 3 cities. We're looking at Mysore very aggressively. There are multiple deals. We have Navi Mumbai, which is an emerging market right now. There are plenty of opportunities there. So there are a lot of places like Jammu, Ludhiana, Jalandhar. So a lot of deals are coming from these areas, and good thing is that somebody has built 80-room hotel. They are running it for a decade. They now want to upgrade and they want to bring an international brand, right? They have FSI available. They want to expand and build another 20, 25, 30 rooms. So those will be quick addition to EBITDA for us also. Why should we restrain?
And this business hotels, or you also focusing on luxury, or
so in tier 2, tier 3 cities, everything should be mixed together, right? So that is, like I'm saying, 100-room hotel, because the business travelers demand will not be that much, right? So 100 rooms should be sufficient to optimize your cost structure. Otherwise, you should not get an international brand. And you build banquet space, wedding spaces. That demand is there in every market.
Great, thanks. And last question for you, Sahil. You've grown in 10 years about 250 stores across the country for Croma. What's the game plan for the next 5 years?
See, if I tell you 250 store what we have grown in last 15, 16 years. So I tell you more than 50% of my stores are hardly 18 months old.
Wow.
So that's the growth what we have seen. And if I tell you out of those stores, around 100, 150, more than 50% are from the future city. I would say the future city, then saying a tier 1, tier 2 and tier 3 city. Because I see future there, like to put a couple of names to, like a city in Karnataka, very close to Mysore, Mandya. So Mandya does around 80% of our business, was probably a store in Mysore does. City in Gujarat, like Porbandar, Bhuj, when you go to Punjab, Patiala, Bathinda. And so these cities are doing extremely well. And see, there was a time when electronics was a luxury. So when I remember 5-10 years back, if somebody is carrying a phone, it used to be a big thing. And there was a time and the most expensive phone was some 40,000, 50,000. Today, I think you won't get anything in 40,000 if you really want to own a good phone. And that's the necessity, because things are growing like that. And I disagree on one part, which a lot of people say, that e-commerce is growing very fast. We really see there hardly some 17-18% penetration if you talk about the total market. So in smaller towns, people still want to feed. They have still not come to that thing, but that to see over the app, over the mobile sensor and buy. They might buy a mobile cover of 200 rupees, 100 rupees. But when they have to buy an iPhone, which is 1.5 lakh rupees. So we still feel that if there is a problem, we might be very proficient in writing mails when it's come to our professional life. But when it's come to this kind of name, we still shy away and writing a stone into a customer service. We still feel, let's go to the store, catch hold of somebody with this collar. So what the hell is this? So that's where it always adds value. So the brick and mortars are there. And coming back to more relevant to this group. So in tier 2 town, if you see, if you are building a residentials and all that, people today want it to be some more things along with it. They only don't want a brick and mortar where just they are 100 flats and things. They want it to be a complete solution. That's when people have started putting more of the supermarkets or probably some women pop shops. Today, electronics are also kind of a necessity. People have started realizing that. I have seen that I never get ready to move inside in tier 2 town. But when I talk about the metros, I get ready to move inside. What it means? It means that their supply is there in metros, they are less takers. But in a smaller town, supply is less. There are more takers. That's why you don't get ready to move inside. You have to ask somebody to build that for you. And secondly, if there is a residential apartments by less knowledge of residential, I still feel that ground floor residents are not that and won't get takers for ground floor ones. So it's always the last one which get really sold. So instead of entering a residence or something on that, you should build something which adds value to that residence, which gives some premiumness. One part is making a luxury home and all that, but one part is make that society associated with good brands, good names. So like everybody wants to know, okay, you are creating a shop, what will come? Tomorrow it should not be, with all due respect, it should not be a butcher shop. It should not be a wine shop. People will always be concerned. But if you say, yes, it's a big box, so it's a 7,000 square feet box, obviously it won't go to a butcher shop or it won't go to a wine shop. That's when somebody add value that a Tata brand is coming. Our ancestors built that name. It gives that, okay, a Tata brand is coming, or probably some bank is coming, or probably some ATM is coming. People feel that this is secure. So you won't get unwanted people coming to those societies, toward those societies. It adds value and it gives returns, better returns to you. So if it does the house, you won't be selling it at that premium value. But if it's some retail shop, it gives value to you. It gives longevity to you. Because it's not always you sell everything. There are always unsold inventories. So it's better to keep an unsold retail than to keep a flat. Because flats still people tend to move to, they still feel, okay, this society is 2-year-old, there's something new coming up, let me look something there. So it's still 2-year-old flat. As a consumer, I'm talking. So it always add value to that. And second thing, if you see that, that's a necessity. People need those things. It makes sense for a builder to do those things. Then there are a lot of banks like where there are a lot of opportunity for you to get funds from that. There's LRDs and all that. A lot of things are out, and a lot of tools which banks have which helps you getting more funds. So it always adds value on that. We have seen the growth coming from smaller towns. Like Mysore, we have one store. We are putting up second store. Like in Gujarat, a smaller city, and Jamnagar, Junagadh, I have one store and putting second store. We always used to open 10, 12 stores. Last year we opened around 57 stores. This year we will be opening 130 stores. Next year 200 stores. Our chairperson said, why you are opening 200 stores? One store a day. That's what Mr. Chandra said. Why? Because that's the growth coming up. It's a necessity. We are still, like, if you see, people still have one phone in there. So I remember my dad bought a TV and we used that TV for 14 years. And after that, it's been, I say 15 years, and a fifth TV which my brother had bought. That's the time. Nowadays, we did a survey. There was a time, the life of average life of a phone was 18 months, which has now come down to 11 months. So that's the way things are changing. People start getting bored. So they say, okay, it's TV quite good, let's change. So that's the churning of these stuffs are happening. So it's definitely add value for the builders and all that, add value to their products. and they sell, they can say that there is a supermarket, there is a bank, there is a good retailer. You need not to go to some other far stores for your basic needs. It's a complete solution at one place.
Great, thanks. I'll just summarize for lack of time, already running late. Is that demand is solid from retail, education, industrial, hotels. One thing which is happening, I think in that phase, the hybrid model is working, and believe it or not, tech sector is adopted. So they are going to those tier 2 to tier 3 cities to retain talent, reduce attrition, and employees are feeling happy. They're saving, they're getting same salary, saving more money, staying with parents, taking care of them, and no cost. What they need now is longevity for you to create ecosystem which is community living, which is missing in tier 2, tier 3 cities, which is a big attraction for young population to come to tier 1 cities and live. The whole walk close to work, the whole ecosystem of malls and all. I think someone has to take a leap of faith and start planning those, and maybe this hybrid will be as a permanent solution. With that, thank you. Over to you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to request for you to be seated just for a few more seconds, to be honest. I'd like to call upon Mr. Sahil to join us on stage to felicitate Mr. Aniruddh Kumar. Can you please have Mr. Rushi Mehta on stage to felicitate Mr. Jayant Kumar, Mr. Dawal Ajmera to felicitate Mr. Kansal, and Mr. Harshul Savla to felicitate Mr. Banthia. Gentlemen, I know it's been a long day, but this was our final session, and let's give our speakers and our moderator a round of applause before we go. And also a big round of applause to all of you for being so patient and cooperative and making our day 2 a big success. Once again, a big thank you to all our sponsors and everybody who's here supporting our day 2 of CREDAI NatCon 2022 right here in Abu Dhabi. And with this amazing photo op, I think it is apt for me to announce that the day 3 tomorrow will begin at 10 a.m. sharp. However, I also want to mention that the gala dinner is held in all your honor at the Palm Garden, which is at the W Hotel, Yas Island. Transport will be made available. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an absolute pleasure. My name is Nitin Mirani, and I will see you tomorrow morning. Thank you very much. Have a good night.